Bien, hoy vamos a ver entonces el Estado del siglo XXI. Vamos a estudiar qué es el Estado en el siglo XXI, el State of the 21st Century. Y agradecemos al profesor Eric Langenbacher por haber aceptado esta entrevista. Eric, thank you for coming to Clase Ejecutiva here in Buenos Aires.
Thank you for having me.
And let me introduce you to the audience. Eric Langenbacher is a visiting assistant professor and director of honors and special programs in the Department of Government, Georgetown University, Washington, D.C., where he also received his Ph.D. in 2002. He was awarded a Fulbright grant in 1999, held the Ernst Reuter Fellowship at the Free University of Berlin in 1999, and was selected Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service Faculty Member of the Year in 2009. His research interests center on collective memory, political institutions, and European and U.S. politics. Recent books include Launching the Grand Coalition, the 2005 Bundestag election, and the future of German politics, and Power and the Past, Collective Memory and International Relations. Besides, Professor Eric Langenbacher gives briefs and seminars for the Department of State in the United States of America. Eric, let me tell you something. Someone said that almost all institutions seem to be under suspicion, and nation-states have been weakened, and the extreme individualism is failed. The whole humanity looks like in a sort of apnea. What should we need a state for, then?
Well, we can't forget the basic functions that a state still provides. A state provides security. A state provides order. It provides security from external threats. It provides order from internal disruptions, if not internal enemies. And so states are still very important to provide those basic prerequisites for human community and human life. However, you're right, especially given globalization, states are less capable of providing these goods than they used to be. And many of the solutions can't be caged within the borders of a state. They beg for some kind of international or multinational solution.
Well, you know, the famous sentence, think global, act local, delivered in 1972 for the first time, perhaps has not been enough. And in general terms, it sounds like worldwide leadership has been running behind the reality, behind the new paradigms arised. Maybe now it's time to say, think global and act global. Perhaps politics is normally focused on a sort of domestic voting game, not corresponding to the dynamics of some forces that can deliver some type of global disorder. So what is the current situation about that?
Well, I think that the basic problem is exactly what you just outlined. The basic problem is that many of our challenges, many of our social and especially economic forces are working at a global scale, whereas our politics and the political incentives that our politicians have to face are still structured at a nation-state level or sometimes even a local level. And so one of the challenges is how do we bring these two kind of into alignment? It's easier said than done.
Yeah, and for example, the United Nations were created to respond to a 65-years-old context. Are they presently in a position to relaunch this world in progress? And furthermore, is the G20 in a position to imagine and create and build innovating global structures?
Well, I think that pertaining to the UN, I mean, first, I really respect a lot of the work that the UN has done through UNICEF, through the UN's Millennium Goals, through the UNDP. But I think that as a cohesive and powerful force to start to really address the problems that we face today globally, I just don't think that it's capable of responding. Think of how many states we have in the United Nations today, over 190. And each state has veto power, so to say. Each state has its own notion of sovereignty. It'll be almost impossible to get 190 actors to agree upon anything. Now, the G20, I think, has some greater prospects. It has a more kind of rational number of actors involved, but each one of these actors is also going to have its own definition of self-interest, its own sovereignty to overcome. There also will be massive power differentials between the different players as well. So I think that both of these organizations are probably not capable currently of attacking these problems.
What should be the roads to take then?
Well, I was thinking about this the other day, and as you mentioned, I've studied European politics quite a bit. And I really think that perhaps the way forward is to really try to empower regional organizations like the European Union, like NAFTA perhaps. Maybe we would need to have 7 or 10 of these organizations across the world. Once we can work on at least regional level solutions, then perhaps that will start to pave the road to a more global set of solutions. Plus, then you'll be dealing with 7, maybe 10 decision makers or actors.
Regional representatives.
Exactly. And I think that they would be much more capable of coming up with a truly global solution.
What could be the main forces that could be supportive towards a sort of real and complete globalization? And what are the forces that could be against such a deal?
Well, that's a really tough question. And I think that one of the problems with so much global thinking in the past has been too much idealism and not enough pragmatism. Too much of an emphasis on the norms that are easy to agree with. I mean, everybody's for world peace. Everybody's for global prosperity. But the problem is that you have power holders at different levels that are able to flummox these kinds of solutions and that have to be accommodated. So I think that the biggest obstacles to some kind of global solution right now are those that are currently invested and that prosper from a system of nation states. And so I think those would be the biggest obstacles. The solution would be to try to create a preponderance of people who believe in a kind of global solution, a preponderance of stakeholders that would benefit from global solutions, and also to find a way to pay off those that would be disadvantaged from a movement from more nation-state-centered politics to a more global level.
Who could be less benefited with such a deal? I cannot imagine who cannot be under benefit of this. I think this is good for everybody, isn't it?
Well, I mean, let's take labor, for example. You know, a lot of workers are protected by many rules, regulations that are currently promulgated by nation states. Many workers also get paid off, so to say, through a variety of welfare redistribution schemes. I think that they have a lot to fear and potentially could be disadvantaged from a kind of global liberalization of labor markets, for example.
Yeah.
And so stakeholders like that would definitely need to be considered.
Yes, of course, and they should work on such a deal, and they should study how to do perhaps other things. But let me go to a commercial break, and then we are going to come back to more state of the 21st century in Clase Ejecutiva.